Good morning, and welcome to Voices right here on WinFM 98.9. It is 6 minutes past the 11 o'clock hour, and you're tuned into WinFM 98.9. This is Voices for Monday, January 30th, 2023. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. Thank you so much for joining the program today with me. We are live on our social media platforms. You can check us out on Facebook, Instagram, or our Twitter account at WINNMedia SKN. That is WINNMedia SKN. All right, good morning and welcome to Voices right here on WinFM 98.9. It is 8 minutes past the 11 o'clock hour, and it is Monday, start of the week, January 30th. It's the start of the week, but the end of the month. January is finally over. I know many of us have been waiting for this for quite some time. You were probably wondering, when payday was going to come or when the month would have been over, but we are at the end of the month. It is the 30th day. Well, tomorrow is the official end, 31st, but we are getting there. Well, good morning and thank you guys so much for joining me on the program today. There is so much happening in St. Kitts and Nevis, so much in the news locally, regionally, internationally, and I know you guys have a lot of things that you want to bring to the fore, a lot of things that are on your mind that you want to share with the listening audience. The phone lines are already ringing, and so if that's the case, then we're going to open these phone lines and we'll take some calls at 466-0989, 762-0989, or 662-0989. Let's take our first call for this morning. Caller, you are our first caller. Good morning.
Put you I first?
Yes.
Wait, I mean you come last. How you do?
I'm doing awesome. What about you?
Okay, I'm doing the same way. Man, yeah. Let me use maybe one or two topics, right? Now, I listen to the news as usual. And before the news that I heard on the weekend, some time ago, some years, maybe about 2 to 3 years back, out in one of those big international countries, there was a disagreement with a man, born a man, and then he had a transgender change. And he went to compete with the female, the ladies who born as female. And that was a big uproar. And I agree with the people who protested that he should not compete with the woman then because he born a man and nobody could alter the work of God and turn a man in a woman and turn a woman in a man. So I agree with them. Now, I think it's Friday night I heard on the news that one of them, he born a man and then he wanted he gender change or whatever it is. Well, I don't know what kind of operation he had. But they accept him as a woman. And then he turned around and he raped the woman. So it appears as though, well, then he used that kind of gender change to fool people.
Mm-hmm.
And
I see what you mean.
I want to believe, the change that he had to give people the impression that he's a woman. Maybe he get his breasts them swell up, so they feel like he's a woman. But I know for sure he didn't cut off his penis, otherwise he couldn't rape no woman. So therefore, I am saying this: whatsoever God make a person, stay that way. Stay that way. They won't go try and change or nothing. Man, science, they went to change to make lives, and they clone an animal, a sheep. I don't know if you have any knowledge of that.
No.
Okay, I don't remember the name of the sheep. But anyhow, they step up to say, well, then a man going to be completely like a woman, he can't walk. He can't walk, and God, days God going to step in. But anyway, let me move the way I don't want nobody say that time and you're lying too long, so. And I have consideration for others.
All right, caller, thank you.
Yeah, okay, then all the best.
Thank you so much for your contribution to this program. You're listening to Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. It is 13 minutes past the 11 o'clock hour. The phone lines are open and we are taking your calls at 466-0989, 762-0989. That is 466-0989 or 762-0989. We are also live on our social media platforms, so you can check us out on our Facebook page or our YouTube channel to follow this program and, of course, more. And for the latest in our news, check us out at www.WINNmediaskn.com. We have some more callers on the line, so let's head back to the phone lines and we'll take this call. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Greetings. Thanks for taking our call. Can we share a 30 seconds punchline?
A 30 seconds punchline, okay.
Okay. It goes like this. Situation likened unto Jack and Jill, or more like crabs in a barrel. Would be better if all and sundry embrace, tenaciously embrace the dire needed unison will.
All right, caller, thank you for that contribution to this program. It is 14 minutes past, and you're listening to Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. We'll be going to take in some calls, and so if you're interested in calling in, you can call us at 466-0989 or 762-0989. Let's head back to the phone lines, and we'll take this call. Caller, you're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning, greeting, brother Cornelius. How your morning is, guys?
My morning has been going really good thus far. What about yours?
We give it thanks for life. The show is a blessing that come down this morning. Now the beak of the sun have opened up to shine so bright again in the light of joy. So we thank you, and we'd like to say good morning to the listeners of our radio and internet of WINNFM. Now, just to say, follow up on our celebration that marked the 88th anniversary of the Buckle Uprising. We just like to make a good announcement that our people was there on the grounds of the celebration were well heartily will receive it with what they speak or display as speeches, poems, and even singing and drumming. So we all have been thankful for making this celebration commemoration be a success for this year 2023. And we would like to say to the general public that we would like to thank for all those who have sponsored and make this aspect of the celebration come to how we see it come out at the gongs of the 88th anniversary to mark the 28th of January. And we would like to say at the 29th there was another where we see that the day was followed up with another proceeding of the march to go on the other side of the island. So we're thankful for our ancestors for the sacrifice that they had made. And we're able to see now we can have some further discussion going forward to commemorate and making sure that the monument, the museum, the land be all allocated and be nationalized, and then we're able to have seen our ancestors be marked as national heroes in our eyes as where we see and celebrated every September. So we say we see this channel now being fostered as the Prime Minister and even the Minister of Representatives for the area has stated as they address the general public at that forum that they will be supportive to seeing this year come to fruition. They say 2 years, but we say 1 year. 1 year this year is supposed to be established for the ancestors them to be commemorated in 2020. So we thank again for the forum of this time to enhance the general public and what the Naibin the Tiakosiada have done for the 80th anniversary of the Buckles Uprising. Thanks a lot, Brother Cornelius, for the airwaves.
All right, and thank you, caller, for your contribution to this program. You're listening to Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9. And I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. You can call us at 466-0989 or 762-0989. It's Voices for Monday, January 30th, 2023. Of course, I recognize the voice of the caller there. Speaking at the Buckley's Uprising, they had a celebration last Saturday. I think Saturday was the 28th, to celebrate the anniversary of the Buckley's Uprising. And we know most recently the cabinet approved the construction of a monument park at Buckley's estate in recognition of the Buckley's Uprising of January 28th, 1935. And so that was recently announced by the Cabinet Secretary, Dr. Marcus Latter. Let's head back to the phone lines and we'll take some more calls. Caller, you're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning, Devon. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. What about you?
Oh, you're giving God thanks, man. Nice hearing you on a Monday.
Thank you.
And how is my fatherland and my motherland?
Nevis is nice. Nevis is nice. Nevis is always nice.
I think it's nicer.
It's a sinking sexy.
I think I'm more sick than Nevis, please. You're more energetic, more fruitful. All your Freemans. Good morning to all the listeners at home and abroad. I have 1, 2, 3. The first one, the media. Has the media gone soft or gone quiet? Now, you have this NRP fiasco in Nevis. Nothing on the media. You have this gentleman with our passport who was arrested or whatever. Nothing on the media. Because we have had cases, similar cases, where you can't hear your ears and that becomes the sole topic for the media outlets, both print and whatever. And the killing, this chap, Crucial Banky, has a song, We're Sitting by Watching the Slaughter. We're sitting by watching the slaughter. And another song, we say, what, the creep up? You're watching the creep up in the murder? Eh?
If I'm watching the creep up, you mean in terms of murders happening in the country?
The killing I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're following too close behind each other. You know? I made a lot of mercy in our country. The last one is the change of the salary date. Now the government will have to have talks with the firms, the banks, and the higher purchase firms, because people have signed withdrawals from their salaries directly.
Mm-hmm.
At what point would the banks deduct the mortgage? And will it cost the person, the person, more with the change? Some of them might want to take out the whole thing in the first 2 weeks' pay, leaving you without anything.
I think the bank has a system where you can either pay monthly or, in this case, every 2 weeks. And so I would think that if the government would be paying, because in the notice they did mention that they will be having talks with stakeholders, which would include the banks and those who do higher purchase.
And the higher purchase.
Right.
Because remember that they already signed to it. It's not you just going and you're going to say, well, I'll take that and I'll take that. You've already signed that you will pay so much on this date. So I was just wondering, well, I don't know nobody, thank you, Jesus. Don't pass that. Now you're going to date while you're young, so you can come out fit. So those are what I wanted to think. The quietness. What is happening to the NRP fiasco? You're in Nevis. You know more than everybody else from Nevis.
What is happening?
There was a talk that people were saying that Cleon was thrown out of the party. Is that true? Was expelled. Expelled is a better word.
I can't confirm or deny that.
But you have heard so.
I've heard the talks about it. I've seen it on social media. People have been talking about it, but as I said, I can't confirm.
Have you checked Cleon's Facebook to see what she say?
Well, I recently checked the Facebook actually, and there's nothing.
What does that mean?
Yes, there's nothing on it regarding that.
Oh, I expect you all to act a little better than criticians, you know. Because we had the 1935 riot, we haven't changed. We rioted over everything.
Mm.
You know, but I want to know, because I said, look at this media in St. Kitts now, St. Kitts Nevis. Them come back since the government changed, they lost their tongue. Important issues, nothing. One killing, imagine that they kill and put somebody in a car trunk. Because, oh well, look back in the old days. You know, it grieved me. I pray for my country, you know, because I want to be able to live in peace. That's what the Bible says. You pray for those in authority, that you may have a peaceable life. But when there seem to be no, I try to choose my words correctly, no active response. Is that if nothing happened? Oh, well, one get killed in the van, one get killed up so. One gets shot. I mean, when are we going to wake up? When the numbers reach the 20s? What is the government plan? And I'm talking about the alternative lifestyle, talking about what plans have they made to deal with this murder for whatever reason, whether revenge or whatever, we need to know. The other thing I want to ask about is the Commissioner of Police. Was he sent home or has he retired? That is two different questions. What do you know?
I heard that he retired.
Oh.
They
they retire him or he retire himself?
I don't know, but I heard that he retired.
Because, you know, you could retire when they say time to go home. Because, I mean, for the number of years that he put in, well, he old enough. Now, anybody calling?
Sorry,
Stop me when the phone.
I didn't hear you.
Stop me when anybody calls.
Yes, go ahead.
All right. Now, we have the situation where if you listen to the replacement by the present government, too many old people, you have national insurance, national Caribbean insurance. They bring back somebody who left politics quite a while. Left election much more than that. You know? Where are the young people who were promised these positions and a chance to move up. What happened to promotion within the organization? I keep saying it, What happened? Because what it is doing, it is reducing productivity. You might have been an assistant secretary, the assistant to the permanent secretary. Why are you not moving them up? Every time you turn on, you have some old labor. Put in this, put in that. I was listening to the last night, and they were talking about the opening of the center, the family park. And it was some of them had protest. We got to give up this old way. Jonelle was invited, and so Mr. Mr. Hamilton, right? Because it's Jonelle who did this thing. And I think it's a chairperson mentioned. And all of them nicely up, they're talking about, and Marcella. Of course Marcella started it. But Jonelle is the one who refurbish it and make it better and stronger. All one of them said is Mr. Hamilton signed the contract. I mean, you're in power now. You understand what I'm saying? And this is the way we live. Party come, party go, and everybody know who was before them. So when are we going to grow up? When are we going to be a mature political country? Where are we? All right then.
All right, caller, thank you for your contribution to this program. It is 11:27. We'll take a short break to acknowledge our sponsors, and when we come back, we'll continue Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9. Let's take this break, and I'll be right back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Sardine have a new vibe. Brunswick sardine have a new Brunswick sardine fillet. It have a new vibe. You hear what me say? Run go to your favorite supermarket or corner shop and grab a couple tin today. Cause this a sitting where everybody a go like. Brunswick sardine have a new vibe. 5 different flavors for you to try. Brunswick sardine have a new vibe. Plus it boneless. Oh yes, that's right. Brunswick sardine have a new vibe. Packed with nutrition in every bite. It tastes nice. Brunswick sardine have a new vibe.
You hear that? That's unlimited WhatsApp and Facebook messaging with Flow's unlimited super combo prepaid plan.
Music to my ears. I can do everything in it?
Yeah, all you want. Have endless fun when you activate a 7-day plan for just $25. Enjoy 10 gigs of endless data for all your pics, GIFs, stickers, voice notes, voice calls, docs, and even video calls. Do all you want with unlimited WhatsApp and Facebook messaging on Flow's unlimited super combo prepaid plans. Switch to Flow today. Conditions apply.
So check it out.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust to secure your investment. You need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us.
TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind.
You're always safe with us.
Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, Devon, I'm back again here. Let me turn down this here. Yeah, okay, sorry about that. I had to stretch over to turn down the radio. Now, I want to support Miss Henry when she spoke about the Commissioner of Police. I could remember when we had Chief of Police Mr. Lynch Wade, when he resigned or retired from that position, you had the Labour government run by Mr. Bradshaw. And instead of Mr. Bradshaw move up somebody from the lower ranks, he brought a man from the customs by the name of Mr. Hector and put him as chief of police over all those other police below the rank of chief of police. Well, I want to know, when they do that there, what happened? Those underneath, they not qualify enough to take over that position? Well, after Mr. Bradshaw did that, then his government went out of office. Dr. Simmons come in, and he didn't bring anybody who knows nothing about police. Mr. Frank was a police right up to the ranks, and then he brought back Mr. Frank, and Mr. Frank was the commissioner of police. Then after Mr. Frank gone, and then the guy there from Nevis, I don't remember his name right now, what was a good friend of mine. He take over as a former police, a lower rank police, he take over. Then after then you had another police, Mr. Jeffers, stepped up to the plate. All those guys were police before they come commissioner. And then after Mr. Jeffers, then you had Mr. Queely, who was a police, step up in ranks. And then now we have Mr. Austin, this one here now, we step up in ranks as a police who was below the commissioner's ranks. Well, why now? Why now that they're asking for people to come to be put in your application to be a police? What happened to those guys below?
Well, I think it's a process where they still have to put out the call to say that they're looking for a commissioner of police. But perhaps it's a case where they are also considering those individuals or those police officers. But I know it's a process where they have to say, hey, yeah, we're looking for a police commissioner.
Okay, well, it's never been advertised before, you know. No, it never been advertised before. So I don't know. I just don't know what's going on, brother, because I think I can choose my commissioner of police, Mr. Henry. He always represent the police force when he has to. In the COVID-19 briefing every day, it was him. And even now, he's still representing the police as though he is the commissioner of police. He has the qualification, and I think he should be moved up into that position. That's in my opinion. So anyway, you have a good day, brother. I'm going to listen again.
All right, caller, thank you for your contribution to this program. This is Voices on WINNFM 98.9. It is 11:34. So as I was saying, it's a case where I know for those positions they have to advertise to say that they're looking for a police commissioner. But perhaps it's a case where people in the police force have applied already or were approached for the position. Now, the caller before you raised the concern as it relates to the media following up or commenting or reporting, let me say reporting, on a number of issues in the country. The caller spoke about the increase in murders, and then the seeming increase in murders and the fiasco going on in Nevis in terms of the politics with the NRP over there. That situation, I think most of you will agree, is unfortunate. They had the local elections in December of 2022, which I think was a closely contested election. Both the major parties there were three parties, but the major parties, CCM and the NRP, it was a spirited fight, a spirited campaign. Both parties, they went out and said what they believe they can do to improve the quality of life or make life better for the people of Nevis. At the end of the day, the CCM was returned to office 3 seats to 2 seats. The CCM took 3 of the 5 parliamentary seats, and the NRP took 2 of the 5 parliamentary seats. Previously, they had 1 seat, which was Nevis 5. Now, since then, we've been hearing or seeing on social media, hearing from people on the streets that they have not been able to settle on the leader of the opposition. So while the 2 parliamentarians were sworn in, Dr. Janice Daniel Hodge and Cleon Stapleton Simmons, well, both of them were sworn in as parliamentarians in the Nevis Island Assembly. There is no official leader of the opposition. And because there is no official leader of the opposition, there is no senator. Because they now have 2 seats, they can now have a senator in the House with them. But because no one officially holds the title of leader of the opposition, you can't have a senator, because someone has to first hold that title. Now, we've been hearing talks that they have not been able to agree on that position. We know that it is traditional, or it is tradition in politics or Caribbean politics that whoever leads the party, if the party is successful in the elections, then that person usually becomes the prime minister, or in this case would become the premier. And if the party wins, enough seats to form an opposition in the parliament, then it is expected, or it is tradition, that whoever is the leader of the party would be leader of the opposition. However, for St. Kitts and Nevis, it's a case where I think you have to go through the constitution, and you have to meet with the governor general and sign letters and all of that to officially say that, hey, I am supporting this individual as the leader of the opposition. Then the leader of the opposition would then have the authority to choose the nominated senator. That, to my understanding, has not taken place, where there is no leader of the opposition. No, we as I said, we've been hearing about it. People have been speaking about it, giving their take on it, what they feel should happen, what they feel should have happened. People have been speculating as to whether this is a new issue, or raising questions as to why the party leader was not supported as the leader of the opposition, as is the tradition. But people have been raising their questions. People have been wondering, is this something that is new? Why are we hearing about this? No. If it's a situation that there was some internal disagreement before, perhaps efforts should have been made to address the situation, address the matter, and not allow it to get to where it is today. I've seen people on Facebook saying, it is quite unfortunate because you have a situation where the party made some inroads in the last election, where they missed the opportunity of getting into government by a 27 vote margin. And so right there and then you see, based on the numbers, there was a swing against the incumbent. Now with this whole fiasco going on, you begin to place doubt, you begin to place a number of questions in the minds of the voters in the island of Nevis, where people are wondering, hey, what do we do next? It is one, I think, for the party itself, embarrassing, or if I may use this term, politically embarrassing. Is this new in politics, where those leaders in the parties cannot agree? We've seen this happen here in St. Kitts and Nevis and across the Caribbean region. At that time, I wasn't yet in the media or anything like that, but most of you would recall the situation between the former Prime Minister Dr. Douglas and former Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris, where he was sacked from the cabinet, removed from the cabinet, and ultimately removed from the party. Of course, he remains as a parliamentary representative, because when you run, the seat is actually yours. It's just that you are representing a political party or a organization, and so he was removed from the cabinet. I think, what I've been seeing on social media as well is that the difference between other situations or other examples is that this one went on for too long, or this one has been or has garnered more public conversation or public talk, or more people have been weighing in on it. It's been going on for quite some time. Will the matter be addressed? I would assume that the powers that be inside the party, whether it be leader, the members or delegates, they ultimately would meet to address the situation and to figure out, what do we do? Because if you have a case where one member is not supporting the other, I mean, how can you have an effective opposition? One, if nobody could agree on who should be leader of the opposition, and two, there being no senator. So I think it's quite unfortunate, and this is something that, of course, we'll be continue to follow to see what is going to happen. It's a developing story, because every day you hear something new about it, every day you hear something more interesting about it, but it is quite unfortunate. It is 11:42 here in the studios of WINNFM 98.9. What is your take? On this matter. The phone lines are open, and we're taking your calls at 466-0989, 762-0989, or 662-0989. Let's head back to the phone lines, and we'll take this call. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning again. Now, I listened to Navy Station, right? 2020, and I think it's one, even though I'm having difficulty picking up one. Now, on 2020, the other week, these were all male voices, eh? Some were former candidates, former minister in the NRP. And one would expect that they would try to exert some influence, in the conflict. But the way they were carrying on and the things they were saying against their own member, Cleone, were not complimentary. You understand what I'm saying? Now, one would expect those people to arrange, look, we're going to have a meeting together and try and sort out and see what you could salvage. But people talking about, oh, she got to go and put her out. Then I heard Cleone herself on another show, another station. It must have been one on Wednesday. And she was saying how she was sent a letter by bailiff from my good friend Hensley, Daniel. She never said what was the content, eh? Or she was saying it was disrespectful for them to send a letter to her by a bailiff when they could have hand-delivered it to her. And she was agonizing over the comments and the remarks and the allegations that were being laid on her publicly by members of her own party. And some were even saying, oh, throw out of the party. Well, I guess some of them are unaware that the seat she has is not the party seat. When you are elected to represent a constituency. And the worst thing you could do is to throw her out, because then you have one less voice. Whatever she says on behalf of our constituents. And it creates disillusionment. We complain that the young people don't want to take part in politics. Who would want to? Who would want to after seeing this? And why wasn't it? It must have existed before. You understand? It couldn't just happen so. If there was some disagreement or whatever before, once the election was and the results came in, that matter could have been sorted out.
What would you have suggested to fix the situation?
I would want to know exactly why. You know? Why would people take certain position? Do you think that the leader is incapable of leading? Do you think you're a better person?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right, I understand what you're saying, but I'm asking you, what would you suggest to fix the situation?
Why come to pass fix now for everybody? Everybody is taking a strong stance. I would suggest you get negotiators or whatever who are not related to either NRP nor CCM. In fact, they could bring in somebody from overseas to make it. You know what I mean? Because with so many people taking sides, it's difficult to find somebody to try and sort out the matter. I said bring in somebody who, you know, you wouldn't think so. What do you think about that?
I don't know if that is necessary. You're bringing somebody to work out something like that.
Labour used to bring in when you think it's now Douglas and Timothy fighting. Douglas said since 2004. 2004, you know, which was what? Not even 10 years after they won the election. He said he did not trust Conda. So Conda was put in the back bench. He was step over, walk over. When it came to Timothy, because Timothy and Douglas had the same kind of emotional setup, right? Both are strong people. People were brought in more than once, he said.
I mean, I guess it's not. Go ahead. Go ahead.
It quiet down the thing from public exposure. You were hearing, they ain't getting on, but you did not know that they had to, on more than one occasion. Even this thing before unity breakup, I heard Dr. Timothy Harris said they had to bring in people. So you make an effort. People who are not invested.
Hold on. You said you heard Dr. Harris said they had to bring in people?
Yeah. He said he and Mark and thing.
To bring in people to do what?
To see if they could I'm trying to find the correct word.
Well, I don't know how the two situations relate. When I recall the situation about bringing in people. I think that was the former prime minister was referring to World Bank and the fair share issue.
No, not those.
Okay.
People who both sides trust.
Oh,
Understand?
I've never heard that one before.
You never heard what you hear it now.
Okay.
So they have people. I think they brought in Labour brought in other island leaders and other people who both sides they felt trusted. Because there has to be some agreement on the person, eh? It can be salvaged. Otherwise, NRP gone back in the wilderness. Because if you're killing, you see why unity out? If we don't agree to even compromise, because there has to be some compromise, eh? Some give and some take.
What effect would this have on the parliamentarians themselves?
I'll tell you what it does. Everybody got the gang behind them, eh? Everybody, well, both persons, let me say guys too, they have people behind them. Because the party now is split into whether you believe it or not. You're able to reconcile the differences, even the people that exist, for the good of the party. For the good of the party, only a full on a Labour split a long time, not just today. Even before Timothy came out, Dr. Douglas was taking Ashley Martin to Libya and so, different places when Conde was carrying the title still. Other people were taken out in his position. You understand what I'm saying? Now they wanted the party to stay in power. Therefore, sometimes certain things you got to suck up until you get Suffolk. Let's take Cleon. Now, as a compromise, I'm talking compromise, right? Since both sides seem to be hardening their position, let Miss Daniel be the leader and give Cleon the opportunity to recommend the senator. What is hard? I mean, what is hard in that? Because the senator is representing the party still, isn't that so? What do you say?
I listened to your caller. Go ahead.
The senator is a NRP, so she's not saying, well, she's not going to pick somebody who don't belong to the party. And I don't expect her to pick somebody who's not an NRP. So that's an easy compromise, and all right.
Okay.
Well,
I would say this: perhaps you should suggest yourself to help and fix the situation. You want me to record? I'll tell them that I know somebody who can help fix the situation.
Yeah, tell them, and you could even tell them what I say.
I will.
Cleon choose the
Well, I think
senator.
they're actually listening to you right now, actually. So.
Yes, Cleon. You see? The Lord and the saints thing. Unfortunately, Nevis was going good, until some people went up there to interfere in Nevis politics.
All right.
Some peoples, let me continue.
All right.
So I am saying today to Cleon and to the party, Hensley and all the lot of old men. I mean, put on your knife and you think you are not doing the party any good, For the good of the party, for the good of the Nevis politics, to bring the country back together again, let Miss Daniel be the leader and allow Cleon to select the senator. She's not going to bring the CCM people. What is so hard in that? What does the party stand to lose?
Okay, I think what you just said is for Miss Daniel and Miss Stapleton Simmons to hear. That's right. You understand that?
Yeah, but you don't think it's a good thing.
Yeah, but I am telling you. Hold on. You're saying to the party, but I'm telling you, what you just said is for Dr. Daniel Hodge and Stapleton Simmons to consider.
For the chairman.
No. This is a matter for the. This is parliamentary. It's a no. Caller, listen to me, right? You listening?
Yes, brother.
When it comes down to the leader of the opposition, right? It is up to it. This is parliamentary business, right? This is parliamentary business. So what you just said is for the leader and the deputy leader to consider. This is not about what.
That's true.
What? Yes.
I would suggest to Miss Daniel, since she is the leader, to consider the party's future. It takes nothing away.
Well, caller, we want to take some more calls, all right?
Man. Huh?
We want to take some more calls, so quickly wrap it up.
To allow Miss Simmons to choose the Senate. She don't even have to reveal. She don't even have to reveal to the public that Cleon selected the senator. You just say, look, I am the party leader and this is our senator.
All right. Okay. All right, caller, thank you for your contribution to this program. You're listening to Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9. Let's take this break and I'll be right back.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is WIN FM.
Buying your medication is easy with City Drugstore's curbside pickup. WhatsApp our certified pharmacist at 662-8769 with your requests. For prescriptions, take a clear photograph and send for review. We will engage you in dialogue and then provide a quotation and link for payment. You can then pay via TDC's online payment portal. And once the transaction is complete, you'll be notified that your pickup is ready. Yes, it's that easy. Send your WhatsApp message to 662-8769 to order your medications today with City Drugstore's curbside pickup service.
Sardine have a new vibe. Brunswick sardine have a new. Brunswick sardine fillet. It have a new vibe. You hear when me say? Run go to your favorite supermarket or corner shop and grab a couple things today. Cause this a sitting where everybody a go like. Brunswick sardine have a new vibe. 5 different flavors for you to try. Brunswick sardine have a new vibe. Plus it boneless. Oh yes, that's right. Brunswick sardine have a new vibe. And with nutrition in every bite, it tastes nice. Brunswick sardine have a new vibe.
You hear that? That's unlimited WhatsApp and Facebook messaging with Flow's unlimited super combo prepaid plan.
Music to my ears. I can do everything in it?
Yeah, all you want. Have endless fun when you activate a 7-day plan for just $25. Enjoy 10 gigs of endless data for all your pics, GIFs, stickers, voice notes, voice calls, docs, and even video calls. Do all you want with unlimited WhatsApp and Facebook messaging on Flow's unlimited super combo prepaid plans. Switch to Flow today. Conditions apply.
So check it out.
We lost that caller. Please call us back at 466-0989 or 762-0989. This is Voices on WinFM 98.9. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. The phone lines are open and we are taking your calls. We break at 12 for the headline news, and when we come back, we'll continue the discussion. Let's head back to the phone lines. We'll take this caller. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning to you. I stood here and I listened to Miss Henry. I know she know a lot, but she don't knows it all. She was listening to the NRP people on Saturday night, because I listened to Cleon, I listened to Mr. Brantley. The only one you ain't listening to is the one that they're going to suggest that they want to be the leader. Because me ain't hear speak nothing but I listen to them. And if me saying you didn't listen good, you would hear when the man them said that they try to keep meeting with the young lady and they cannot. And even they send, I think they said they send the letter to her. And she did not take the letter. That's the reason why they had to send it with the next Monday. They had to send it with him because she wouldn't take it from no one. So that's the reason why they send it with him. So if they send me the listening group, she would have been here. And they send me, we want somebody now to come in and come fix the NRP problem. You want to bring in somebody. But when they said there is going to bring in somebody to work on the fair share problem, she said no. We have people in Sinkit and Nevis can do the maths. So don't they have people in Sinkit and Nevis to do the same thing what you want bringing people to do? And when she said the lady must pick the next one yet to go in the house, you have to know people good and what's not to pick. Because I hear them, I don't know the guys, I don't know them, so that the guy is not a good person to pick. That's what you all want to pick. He's not a good person. He's not a good person. And what's not? She said that she is not going to pick nobody what in going to be NRP. I wonder if you send and listen to Mark and Wednesday night when he said the same lady just come by him and to find out like if he have a problem, he will help her. Mark and CCM, what is she going over by Mark? To find out from Mark and She party running against Mark. I'm not going to tell her anything that is good. No. So you have to know what's going on and what's not. She don't call her Mark to go get no decision from Mark because Mark is not going to tell her nothing good. All of Mark is going to tell her maybe something what she wants to hear, but not for the party's sake because them are run against him. And that's all he wants. He just want to say it and think, lift up, take up things. And after them, they realize. So I don't think he has no kind of remark to get no kind of assistance, help, talk, or what's not from him. I don't think so. Let them work it out on themselves and he need to keep from us. They said they're lawyers. Well, if they got a case to go try and you want more, they go work on the fight, that's a problem. But with NRP problem or what's not, I don't think so. And I noticed now, in this place here, when NRP was running with Pam, think it's people that was being in this. They want a doctor, see a doctor here, what's not. All of them want to be doing NRP. But because NRP, because now that they get a chance to mash up the government, it's not easy worse. It doesn't go so. That's about conflict of interest. They just check it out up there. A man just lose the election up there and go get a higher pay. Conflicts of interest, they already want to bang them out. They go them to conflicts of interest because conflicts of interest, they are all as far as I see. You have a blessed day. See you.
All right, Carter, thank you so much for your contribution to this program. It is 2 minutes past the 12 o'clock hour. We'll take a break now for the headline news, and when we come back, we will continue the discussion. I want to get your feedback some more on the situation there in the Nevis politics as it relates to the Nevis Reformation Party. And the caller just mentioned something that I would also want to bring to the fore. The appointment of Alexis Jeffers as a special advisor to the Premier. Alexis served as former deputy premier. He served as deputy premier in the CCM-led administration, and he was recently appointed as a special advisor. He lost his parliamentary seat, Nevis 4, to the NRP leader, Dr. Janice Daniel Hodge. So that situation there and the situation going on with the Nevis Reformation Party as it relates to them not being able to choose an opposition leader and senator. We'll take this break now for the headline news, and when we come back, we will continue the conversation. Let's take this break. We'll be right back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, KDP Enterprises, Carib Brewery, and NHC.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
NHC is helping you to pay less in 2023. Having difficulties keeping up to date with your mortgage? Make an appointment to speak with your account manager today and learn how you can pay less. Our refinancing program will give you the opportunity to pay as low as $300 a month. Call us 466-4701 or visit our office at East Park Range. Pay less. Worry less with NHC refinancing program that's designed with you in mind. Offer valid from February 1st to June 30th.
when it comes to the important things in life: your health, your education, your choice of a life partner, and of course your insurance provider. Only the best will do. Caribbean Alliance Insurance is the only insurance company in the Eastern Caribbean with an A excellent rating. We have a robust 3-tier reinsurance strategy that protects our policyholders from multiple catastrophes, even if they occur in quick succession. We spread our risks over 18 territories, ensuring minimal impact to individual territories when a disaster strikes. We provide an excellent claims experience. Claim settlement is usually between 24 to 48 hours. Our A excellent rating means that you are more secure with us. Contact us for motor, property, marine, public liability, employer's liability, and other policies. Dalil Walwyn, people you can trust. Local agent for Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tomorrow secured.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Welcome to the WINNFM newscast. I am Devon Cornelius. In our headlines locally, Prime Minister Drew appeals the public to donate to blood bank. Across the region, Trinidad's opposition leader declares she is firmly in charge of the United National Congress. Internationally, Nadhim Zahawi sacked from UK government after tax row. The details of these and other stories straight ahead. The blood bank at the JNF General Hospital is currently accepting blood donations from suitable donors during the regular working hours of 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. A special appeal was made by Prime Minister and Minister of Health, the Honorable Dr. Terence Drew, for people to visit the hospital to make their donations.
I myself going to be evaluated soon to say if I can be a blood donor, and if I am, I will donate blood, so that we have enough blood at the hospital. So that is why we're asking the public to be engaged. And
Prime Minister Drew, who is a medical doctor, was at the time speaking on WINNFM's Inside the News on Saturday, January 28th, 2023. The Ministry of Health recently announced the commencing of a series of outreach activities to increase the national blood donor pool and the reactivation of the National Blood Donor Registry to prevent the frequent shortages of blood products nationally. All healthy-bodied persons in the nation who are willing to donate blood are encouraged to register as donors at least 3 days prior to the procedure. This will help to allow the hospitals other blood donation reserves to be used for emergencies only. The government of St. Kitts and Nevis will be introducing a new payroll system for the civil service. All monthly paid civil servants will soon be paid on a twice monthly or on a semi-monthly basis. Semi-monthly means that employees will be paid 2 times per month on specific dates. If one of those stipulated pay dates falls on a weekend, the payroll is instead paid out on the preceding Friday. The semi-monthly payroll process is an initiative utilized by several private sector companies, including the hospitality industry, and has proven to be beneficial to both employees and employers. A committee comprised of executive members from the Human Resource Management Department, Prime Minister's Office, and the Accountant General Department, Ministry of Finance, has been formulated to assess and implement the initiative. The Cabinet Secretary, Dr. Marcus Natta, will be heading the committee and overseeing the process. A meeting was held last week to discuss the necessary changes and execution method, including the required systems upgrades at the Treasury Department, in addition to the formulation of a public relations and sensitization process to inform and advise all stakeholders. Several meetings will follow within the upcoming months to inform and educate the civil servants on the new payment schedule and benefits of the semi-monthly payroll. Government auxiliary employees will continue to receive wages weekly. More details will be forthcoming as the process is finalized. Currently, there is no set timeline for implementation, but it is expected to be completed within the first half of the year. Now for the regional news.
This is the Carib Update News Service. I am Wendy Chateau reporting. Trinidad's opposition leader declares she is firmly in charge of the United National Congress. This is the big story we're tracking this hour on Monday, January 30, 2023. Details of this story and more straight ahead. Now for the details. Amidst concerns from within her membership about her leadership and suggestions that the party was at its weakest and she must go, Trinidad's opposition leader Kamla Prasad Bisesar maintained that she and her party were at their strongest. The former Trinidad Prime Minister used Sunday's General Council of her United National Congress in Cuba to shore up her base.
You didn't select me, You elected me. You gave me your votes in the thousands. You elected me and our national executive to lead our very great party, and we will lead right into victory whenever elections are called.
Prasad Bisesar says she is fit to continue leading the party, even though some have been speculating about her health.
So today I ask you, was it the UNC leader who got COVID 5 times? Was it the leader of the UNC who disappeared for over a month on a medical trip somewhere abroad? And I could tell you much more. I feel good. I feel like Hulk. I am strong and ready to take on all comers.
Assuring that the UNC is a democratic party and not a cult, she trained her guns at the naysayers, saying there was a difference between constructive criticism and insults.
And so I always ask others' opinions and ideas. I believe that we should not view people who disagree with us or criticize us as enemies. Often they have our best interests at heart. So we listen and then we lead. Now some of you may say, but wait, Kamla, we have seen you drop licks on some people sometimes. That's true. And the reason for that is because of the rude and disrespectful and inappropriate manner in which they have behaved.
Jamaica's Minister of National Security, Dr. Horace Chang, says local law enforcement agents are now working with their U.S. counterparts to track down members of the criminal network behind the shipment of ghost guns seized at the Montego Bay Freeport on Friday. 22 firearms and a quantity of ammunition were seized in the operation. It was later revealed that the weapons were what is referred to as untraceable or ghost guns, which have become the weapon of choice for criminals.
It makes life much more difficult for the public investigating officers. You still have a ballistic mark, but without the serial number. It makes it much more difficult to trace its origin and where it is. So it's something we'll have to look at. I think the Americans have looked at new legislation, and we have to pressure them for it as well, that the various parts can be identified.
Jamaica's Ministry of Education is scrambling to address issues that resulted in a number of teachers receiving their pay late. The Jamaica Teachers Association has blasted the ministry for the delayed payment, characterizing it as a sign of disregard for teachers. Minister of Education Fievel Williams says the delay was caused by issues in the calculation. Williams says while the issues have been recurring for some time, the ministry is working to sort out the problems in the system. The bulk of Grenada's public servants are expected to receive their salaries Monday, a few days later than usual. Salaries are normally sent to accounts 5 days before the end of the month. There was some murmur about the slightly delayed payments in Grenada over the last few days. However, a government statement late Friday said it was not unusual for salary payments for public servants to be made 1 day before the last working day of the month. This is Newsbreak from the Carib Update News Service. In more news, Antigua's Prime Minister Gaston Brown says his one-seat government will last the entire term, in spite of suggestions by naysayers that it will struggle. Brown says the team remains united and determined. Speaking on his radio show on the weekend, Brown also said that his crusade against now independent MP Asot Michael will continue because he is, in his view, unfit for public office.
And I want to know how all of a sudden that the most rotten man that ever served in our parliament, whoever served in government, becomes a savior. And when talk about it, so those of you second guess me, y'all must get it in your thick skulls that Asset Michael is criminal minded.
This has been another edition of Newsbreak from the Carib Update News Service, the Caribbean's newsroom. Reporting this hour, I am Wendy Chateau.
We now bring you these international reports.
Sacked the chairman of his Conservative Party, Nadeem Zahawi. His dismissal comes after an independent investigation of Mr. Zahawi's tax affairs. Now, these have been the subject of a growing controversy recently since it emerged that he had to pay a penalty to the tax authorities. The Prime Minister said the investigation made clear that, quote, there has been a serious breach of the ministerial code. Mr. Sunak received the report from Sir Laurie Magnus, the independent advisor on ministers' interests, early this morning. Sir Laurie told the Prime Minister that certain omissions by Mr. Zahawi fell short of the standards that ministers are expected to abide by, and he concluded, I consider that these omissions constitute a serious failure to meet the standards set out in the ministerial code. I consider that Mr. Zahawi, in holding the high privilege of being a Minister of the Crown, has shown insufficient regard for the general principles of the ministerial code and the requirements in particular under the 7 principles of public life to be honest, open and an exemplary leader through his own behaviour. Well, in response to that, Mr. Zahawi has put out his own statement. In a letter to the Prime Minister, he writes, it has been the privilege of my life to serve in successive governments and to make a tangible difference to the country. He then went on to criticise press coverage of his position, saying, quote, in a week when an MP was physically assaulted, I fail to see how one headline on this issue, the noose tightens, reflects legitimate scrutiny of public officials. Well, finally, he assures the Prime Minister of his support from the backbenches in the coming years. Our political correspondent, David Wallace-Lockhart, has been giving me an update on this morning's breaking news.
We didn't know when this was going to come, but this morning we got the
report from Sir Laurie Magnus, the Prime Minister's ethics advisor, who'd been investigating Nadeem Zahawi. And after his findings, we also got that letter from the Prime Minister, which he'd sent to Nadeem Zahawi, telling him he was sacked from government. Now, if we go through both of them, first of all, Sir Laurie Magnus, he goes into a lot of details in his findings, and it is quite critical of how Nadeem Zahawi has conducted himself in all of this. Now, he says that Nadeem Zahawi first started having talks with HMRC in April 2021. Mr Zahawi told Laurie Magnus that he formed the impression that this was just questions coming from HMRC. Laurie Magnus says he should have understood at the outset that he was under investigation. He talks about the fact that therefore this didn't come up in his declaration of interest, even when he became Chancellor, the Minister responsible for the tax and spend system on the 5th of July 2022. Laurie Magnus critical of that, and he says that failing to declare that ongoing investigation before later in July 22 was a breach of that ministerial code. He also talks about the fact that we know now Nadeem Zahawi paid a penalty as part of his settlement with HMRC. Laurie Magnus again saying failing to update his declaration of interest form appropriately once that penalty had been paid was not correct, not disclosing the right information. And he says sort of taken together, these omissions constitute, in Laurie Magnus's words, a serious failure to meet the standards set out in the ministerial code. Also, Laurie Magnus goes into the detail of an interview Nadeem Zahawi gave where he said that it was smears to say that HMRC were looking into him. Laurie Magnus says this wasn't as open and transparent as a government minister is supposed to be. This report went to the Prime Minister, and it looks like the Prime Minister took quite swift action on this. He wrote in this letter to Nadeem Zahawi that there's been a serious breach of the ministerial code. As a result, I've informed you of my decision to remove you from your position in His Majesty's government. Now, this was all going on moments before Michael Gove, the government minister who was out on the airwaves this morning talking on behalf of the government, was on the Laura Kuenssberg programme, so he had to immediately respond to this. Here's what he had to say.
When facts emerged about the position in which Nadeem found himself, the Prime Minister said we need an independent investigation. Sir Laurie Magnus, who, as you pointed out, is the independent advisor on ministerial standards, on ethics, was asked to look rapidly at the situation. He concluded his report. He wrote to the Prime Minister, I think, early today, and then the Prime Minister, immediately upon receipt of the letter, decided that Nadeem could no longer stay in the Cabinet.
But why 7 days ago did Nadeem Zahawi and Rishi Sunak appear to think that it was okay for somebody who had paid a penalty to the taxman while being the boss of the taxman to stay in post? Because I think to many of our viewers last week that seemed absolutely blatantly like something that wasn't sustainable.
Well, as ever, it's always important to make sure that all the facts are investigated fully and properly. And that is why Sir Laurie Magnus was given the opportunity to do so, why he's concluded as he did, and why the Prime Minister has acted as he did. As a general rule, I think it is important when allegations are raised that they're investigated promptly, but also we shouldn't rush to judgment before there's been that investigation. And again, the specific issues of an individual's tax affairs are ones that require, in circumstances like this, a cool forensic analysis, and that is what Sir Laurie provided.
So that was Michael Gove talking to Laura Kuenssberg. David, pretty much straight after that, we got Labour's reaction to all of this. What did they have to say?
Well, the line we're hearing from many people who are critical of how Rishi Sunak's handled this was that there were grounds to sack Nadeem Zahawi before he even asked his ethics advisor to look into all of this. And we heard that put to Michael Gove there. The fact that we knew that when he was Chancellor, he'd paid a penalty to HMRC. There were also questions circulating about how much Rishi Sunak knew and when, and perhaps he was put into the bear pit of Prime Minister's questions without quite knowing the full picture here, which would be grounds in a normal situation to be very unpleased one of your ministers had let you do that. That was along the lines of what we heard Labour saying this morning. It was Bridget Phillipson who was on the Laura Kuenssberg programme for them.
This should have happened weeks ago. It was always going to end this way, and I think it speaks to Rishi Sunak's weakness that it's taken so very long for it to happen. And this isn't just about one individual. This is about right at the heart of government, a government that is just mired in sleaze. We've had Nadeem Zahawi, Suella Braverman, who herself also broke the ministerial code and then appointed as Home Secretary, Dominic Raab, Gavin Williamson. I think this speaks to a government that just is focused on the Conservative Party, not on the interests of the public. And this is going to continue to happen. This really isn't going away. And I think there are still serious questions that the Prime Minister needs to ask about all of this. Nadeem Zahawi has spent weeks seeking to dodge questions and to threaten those who asked him questions about his tax affairs.
So that was Labour's response to all of this. David, where does this leave the premiership of Rishi Sunak? Because, of course, when he first came in, he stood famously outside the door of Number 10 and said his government was going to be all about professionalism and integrity and standards.
Yes, and Rishi Sunak in many ways pitched himself as the candidate who could move on from the scandals that had surrounded his previous two successors and their times in government. Now, we've had Gavin Williamson, one of Rishi Sunak's ministers, who had to stand down over allegations about texts he'd sent a former chief whip. We've had Dominic Raab, the current Deputy Prime Minister, who's facing a probe about allegations of bullying. It should be said he denies those allegations. And now we've got the Conservative Party chair who's had to be sacked for breaching the ministerial code. All at a time when Michael Gove this morning wanted to talk about cladding, when the government tomorrow wants to talk about its plans for the NHS, the political oxygen is being sucked into stories about Conservative Party ministers and whether or not their behaviour's been appropriate. And when you're a Prime Minister not that far away from an election and lagging behind in the polls, this is not the sort of stories you want to be discussing at a point when you need to show the country you have plans for the problems it's facing.
Taking you back to our breaking news story out of Pakistan, and there's been an explosion at a mosque in the city of Peshawar. That's in the northwest of the country. Police say that heavy casualties are feared. Once again, we bring in Kamal Haider. He's following developments out of Islamabad. Kamal, what are you hearing about the latest death and casualty toll?
Well, the death toll is going up. It is likely to go up given the fact that, according to hospital sources, over a dozen of them are critically wounded. And we are also getting details that this was a suicide bombing, that the suicide bomber himself was sitting in the front row in that congregational prayer inside a mosque in the police lines. This is an area where the police have their residential areas as well, and it's within a compound. So indeed, an alarming situation given the fact that this suicide bomber was sitting amongst the worshippers. How he was able to get inside undetected, of course, would also raise other questions. But important to note that this is indeed a serious incident. Over 50 people are wounded in this explosion. And as I mentioned, some of them are in critical condition. According to the latest we have, at least 3 people are confirmed dead. There are some figures of 5, but as I mentioned, the death toll is likely to rise.
So why would this happen in Peshawar now, and why this particular mosque, Kamal?
Well, what has happened is that the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, who have declared war against Pakistan, they've been attacking the police, the security forces, and almost on a daily basis, there is an attempt on a police post or a police station, the police being the soft target primarily because they're poorly armed, they're not as well equipped as the TTP fighters. These people have been complaining they don't have proper life vests. But this particular attack inside the mosque is also nothing new. The TTP has been using suicide bombers. ISIL, Daesh has also been using suicide bombers to target mosques and places of worships in the past as well. So there's nothing new about that. But the fact that they have been able to penetrate into what should have been a secure compound will, of course, raise questions as to the security or the capability of the police forces. They have paid a heavy price. Many officials have been killed in the past month alone. We were at a police station doing a report on the rise or the spike in violent attacks. And that same police station came under attack 2 days later with several people being killed there. So that's the situation at the moment.
Thank you so much, Kamal Haider, reporting from Islamabad.
Let's recap our top stories. Locally, Prime Minister Drew appeals to public to donate to blood bank. Across the region, Trinidad's opposition leader declares she is firmly in charge of the United National Congress. Internationally, Nadhim Zahawi sacked from UK government after tax row.
That was the WINNFM Headline News. The Headline News is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, KDP Enterprises, Carib Brewery, and NHC.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
With over a century of perfection behind the Mackeson name, a smooth blend with perfect balance and richness, it's no wonder Mackeson Triple Stout has a legacy of perfection. Enjoyed the world over. Introducing our new look with the same great taste. Mackeson. All hail the king.
Please drink responsibly.
When it comes to the important things in life, your health, your education, your choice of a life partner, and of course your insurance provider, only the best will do. Caribbean Alliance Insurance is the only insurance company in the Eastern Caribbean with an A excellent rating. We have a robust 3-tier reinsurance strategy that protects our policyholders from multiple catastrophes, even if they occur in quick succession. We spread our risks over 18 territories, ensuring minimal impact to individual territories when a disaster strikes. We provide an excellent claims experience. Claim settlement is usually between 24 to 48 hours. Our A excellent rating means that you are more secure with us. Contact us for motor, property, marine, public liability, employer's liability, and other policies. Dalil Walwyn, people you can trust. Local agent for Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tomorrow secured.
NHC is helping you to pay less in 2023. Having difficulties keeping up to date with your mortgage? Make an appointment to speak with your account manager today and learn how you can pay less. Our refinancing program will give you the opportunity to pay as low as $300 a month. Call us 466-4701 or visit our office at East Park Range. Pay less. Worry less with NHC refinancing program that's designed with you in mind. Offer valid from February 1st to June 30th.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
Found the sound 98.9 WINNMedia FM.
Value Mart IGA is helping you spend less and save more. How, you ask? Essential Everyday and Equiline. Spend less on our Essential Everyday products and get the best quality, the best taste, and the best value. Spend less for all your family health and beauty needs with the Equiline brand of over-the-counter products. Portsmouth Value Mart IGA is helping you spend less with our Essential Everyday products and Equiline over-the-counter health and beauty care products. Shop smart and spend less at Value Mart, where price matters most.
It is 12:39 here in the studios of WINNFM 98.9. I'm Devon Cornelius. Welcome back to Voices right here on WINNFM. Thank you so much for joining the conversation for today. It is Monday, January 30th, 2023. This is Voices. We are live on our social media handles. You can check out our Facebook page or our YouTube channel at WINNMedia SKN. Thank you so much for joining the program. All right, welcome back to Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9. Thank you guys so much for joining me on the first hour, and we are going to wrap it up in the second hour. Of course, this program ends at 1:30. For those of you who are just tuning in the first hour, callers weighed in on a number of topics. People weighed in on the matter of the police commissioner. They wondering whether he retired or if he was asked to retire, and questioned as to why a notice was being given. I know that is the usual process that they would take in the sense that if there is a vacant position, I think it is required by law. I stand to be corrected, but I think it is required by law that a notice be given that we are looking for someone to fill this position. It does not suggest that they're not considering people who work within the organization. Perhaps they have cases where people within the organization have already submitted their application, but as is customary, they have to say officially, they have to advertise that the position is vacant and they're seeking suitable candidates to fill the post. A caller also commented on the increase in the murders in the country. We've had, I think it's 2 murders for the year, and then last year I think there was one in December, that a very unfortunate incident that took place in December. I think it was on the 26th, where a young man lost his life. So we've had, I think it's 2 or 3, but I believe it's 2 murders for 2023. The disturbing things about these murders is the fact that, some of them, they end up in the wilderness. The cases end up in the wilderness. Perhaps it's a case where the police, they're seeking information and they're not getting any assistance in terms of moving the case forward. So oftentimes we hear of not just murders, but, different cases because there's no evidence and people not cooperating and helping out, then the case can't move forward. Then we have callers who commented on the Nevis politics with regards to the opposition there. them not being able to settle on leader of the opposition. And a caller also raised the appointment of Alexis Jeffers as a special advisor to the Premier. These are the issues. For the second hour, I want us to focus on those two issues. The situation there in Nevis with the opposition, the Nevis Reformation Party, and the appointment of Alexis Jeffers as a special advisor. Now, when the Premier made the announcement at his recently held press conference, I think the press conference was last week, he also announced that the Honorable Latoya Jones, who is the Deputy Speaker in the National Assembly, she too will continue as a special advisor on community-related matters. You would recall that Ms. Jones was appointed as a special advisor, I think it was in 2021. I stand to be corrected. I think it was in 2021, or maybe 2022. But she was appointed as a special advisor on community matters to the office of the Premier. And according to Mr. Brantley, Ms. Jones will continue to serve as a special advisor to the Premier. No, Alexis Jeffers has joined the office of the Premier as a special advisor on foreign-related matters and foreign investments and, things like that. And I think the Premier announced that he will be leading the negotiations and that project as it relates to the airport there in Nevis, the Vance Emery International Airport. People have been commenting and given their take on that situation, have been saying how they feel about the appointment. Is this something that is usually done? You run in an election, or you previously held a post in an election, whether it be a minister or in this case, a minister, and then you lose your seat and you're then appointed as a special advisor. This is not new in not just Nevis politics, or I think it's Nevis politics, but it is not new at all. When you look across the Caribbean, it seems to be a tradition where if you are a candidate in a race and your party is successful but you lost your seat, then you don't really have too much to worry about. Your party is in office, and so look out for maybe the appointment of a special advisor or permanent secretary, or some kind of position, to help you out, or whatever the case may be, or for you to lend your experience and expertise to the work of the administration. We'll open the phone lines and we'll begin taking some calls. Let's take our first call for this afternoon. Caller, good afternoon. You are on the air.
Oh, good afternoon, Devon. How was the lunch?
I had no lunch as yet.
And boy, you got to say, our Father, give us this day our daily bread, eh? Lord, please give Devon his daily bread. When anybody box it out of your mouth. Now, this special advisor thing, nothing but a money-making scheme. You know that they actually end up getting more than what they got as a minister?
That is what I was made to understand. And
I'm telling you, look, I'm going to lose.
Yeah.
Don't laugh. They been serving for years for one old measly pay.
Oh, Lord Jesus Christ.
They lose nothing.
Mm-hmm.
We're an ambassador. I mean, they must stop it though,
Yeah.
That is very discouraging to senior civil servants.
Yeah.
People got to run whole department. Somebody ran and they were rejected, and what you get?
Special advisor.
They get their pay and plus.
Ambassador.
And some of them are entitled to double pension, Lord Jesus. And not new, that's what we're talking about with the national insurance.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them don't collect their social security. Don't collect their government pension. And then you turn around and hire them as special advisor? What do you call that? They've got all parties, eh? All right.
All right. Caller, thank you for your contribution to this program. It is 12:47 in the studios of WINNFM 98.9. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. So that seems to be the trend across the Caribbean. But the caller put it really good there. It seemed like it pays to lose. So if you're ever considering to run for parliament or run for office, just make sure your party wins. It really matter if you lose. Just make sure the party win. You're going to be appointed as special advisor or ambassador or something, and you're going to be getting more than you got when you were a minister or an elected representative. But this is a trend I've been seeing happening across the Caribbean. The people who they already qualify for a pension, they already qualify for Social Security or whatever the case may be, and then you bring them back on the payroll, paying them $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $25,000. I'm not saying this is the case here, right? Nobody tie me up. But just drawing a reference. You have people coming back as advisor to this or ambassador to that or special ambassador to this, who they probably served 15, 20, 30 years in the civil service, and so they're good. And then we're bringing them back on the payroll to tell them to advise us on something. And then we're going to give them maybe $10,000 or $15,000 a month for that special advice. So I've seen this happen in Nevis, in St. Kitts, in Antigua, in Grenada, you name it. But it seems like a Caribbean thing. Or generally, you're looking out for your brethren. You guys running the election together. Somebody was not successful. To ensure that they are able to continue to feed themselves and feed their family or whatever, expenses that they may have. You give them a job and you make them a special advisor. What is your take on this and the NRP fiasco? The phone lines are open, and so feel free to call and give your view, your opinion on these matters. Call us at 466-0989 or 762-0989. We are taking your calls. Remember, we are also live on our social media platforms. Check us out on our Facebook page or our YouTube channel. So your take on these two matters here, the situation going on with the NRP, very embarrassing and quite unfortunate. And then the situation here with the news of the appointment of Alexis Jeffers as a special advisor to the office of the Premier on foreign matters or foreign related matters, investments, then that is. So as it is, there are two advisors now to the office of the Premier, one on community matters and one on foreign investments. Both are parliamentarians, I would say. Ms. Jones is the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, and Mr. Jeffers is the elected representative for Nevis 11. Mr. Jeffers served as Deputy Premier, and both were candidates in the December 12, 2022 Nevis Island Assembly election. Here in St. Kitts, I know there are cases here in St. Kitts where people ran and lost, and then because that party was successful, they too got an appointment. No, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that the people don't have anything to bring to the table, because some of them actually do, but that's another story there. Caller, you are on the air. Good afternoon.
Pleasant good afternoon again. This one has been saying that I really can't set upon with these people in the country running for politics. Without they have the most answer, and there is the most, I must say, people who ain't have any sin, and they don't do this and they don't do that. But when they reach in, come on, tell me about it. The same premier, he had a lot to say, and if you listen to him, He is the only man up there could read the most. He got all the answer for what bad. He got everything right. He never make a mistake yet. Nothing at all that man they do, but everybody else bad. And when you have to listen, he just call people most corrupt and all sorts of names he just find. Because you know, he's a lawyer, so you find all sorts and all kind of name. Big name, where you can't tangle with them. But they ain't make no sense. And even listen that they said. Listen on the news that the airport story over there. The people with their property and what's not, they got to move. They got to move and find and go somewhere. But his wife have land there. Now come on. Who and they go move, but she have land there too. So now what she plan to do? Sell the land to the government? Are that not corruption? And what's that where they like to speak about? Because he knows all who is in corrupt. But he don't know. He won. When I hear him say that the young lady, remain in his ministry as the advisor. And this one now going in. Then how much advisor he wants so? Because he failed everything that he do. And the same one where he bring back in, they just now fail everything. So one, two failure, one a prime minister and one a advisor. Where are we going? Where are we going? And you notice down in the Caribbean down here, all of them they, who gone in, they just know. But they don't have nothing at all. But when you start to look and check out, a lot of things coming out. And then what you never expect. So you listen out and you're going to hear a lot more to come. Because look up, this is the year 2023. So all who been high things is going to come out. And then so we just got to sit back, look, and then listen. When you have a good last one.
All right, caller, thank you for your contribution to this program. You're listening to Voices here on WINNFM 98.9. Let me take this quick break and I will be right back. Stay tuned.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
King Ocean, king of the Caribbean seas, announces king-size savings on shipments from Miami to St. Kitts. We have the best service and competitive rates on LCL and FCL cargo, including D&E containers, cars, heavy equipment, buses, boats, and barrels from Miami to St. Kitts. LCL pickup service anywhere in the U.S. Call local agents SL Hospital and Company Limited at 869-465-4086 or 869-662-5008 for further details. King Ocean's king-size savings on shipments from Miami to St. Kitts Nevis. King Ocean, king of the Caribbean seas.
The views and opinions expressed in this program were solely those of the participant or caller and do not reflect the views of WINNFM 98.9. WINNFM reserves the right to disconnect any caller who infringes the law or offends the right of any person. The station will also refuse to take any call from any person who in WINNFM's considered opinion is likely to expose the station to liability for statements made on the air.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Horsford's Value Mart IGA is helping you spend less and save more. How, you ask? Essential Everyday and Equaline. Spend less on our Essential Everyday products and get the best quality, the best taste, and the best value. Spend less for all your family health and beauty needs with the Equaline brand of over-the-counter products. Horsford's Value Mart IGA is helping you spend less with our Essential Everyday products and Equaline over-the-counter health and beauty care products. Shop smart and spend less at Value Mart, where price matters most.
Welcome back to Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. Thank you so much for joining the program. Let's head back to the phone lines and we'll take some more calls. Caller, you are on the air. Good afternoon.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. You know who I am?
If I know who you are?
Your friend.
Yes, caller, go ahead.
Yeah, man. Amen, amen, and amen to those two ladies before me. Well. Me say we make me and you laugh hard and long. Then me say we say it pay to lose.
It pays to lose, boy.
Yeah, I say this morning to it and me say because no, Javon, you're gonna tell me you are a player and a team playing with a basketball, football, or whatsoever game, and you find yourself in a position failing, okay? And they throw you off the team. Can you go to another team, go coach them to win?
I don't think so.
All right then. No, I am not against, you bringing somebody with years of experience and a job to give advice. But you have to look also at the age of the person. Because I have known some people commit crime, break the law when they should have known better. And they were in a position to make sure that when they see anyone breaking the law, they stop them. An individual lost their job of employment because of dishonesty on the job. Disgracefully discharged from the job, but yet still they now employ as a special advisor. Come on, look back and see the record. What legacy individual have before you take them up to say special advisor? And then how they think people underneath who working for the government, doesn't matter which government, you can just bring up a loser and carry his salary and catapult his salary so high over a lot of workers who working for years and could hardly see the light. They're not going to feel good. That's why some people don't turn off of jobs. Because they're working. When you want anything to do, you could depend on them, you call them, but their salary is way down in the cut. And you can just bring in somebody who do not deserve that position and give them this, what you call pinnacle salary. In that right, man, in not fair. Not fair. So, it pays to lose. When we go into school, every student in school is striving to see a correct in our book or our slate, a correct. And you feel good, but nobody wants to see they mark expand the sums or nothing. But when you leave school and when you go look a job, the X means more to you than a correct. You know what X I'm talking about? Politics. Nobody want to see no correct to say, well, boy, that is right, you do good. No, I want all the X. Put on the correct. Bring the X and give me. Some people even buy T-shirt with XXX and put them in the thing. So when the election come, they're going to use them X have the T-shirt. You have a good day.
All right, caller. Thank you for your contribution to this program. The phone lines are open and we are taking your calls right here on Voices on WINNFM 98.9. Call us and give us your take on these two matters that we're currently discussing. The NRP situation there in Nevis and the appointment of Alexis Jeffers as a special advisor to the office of the Premier. The phone lines are open and we're taking your calls at 466-0989, 762-0989 or 662-0989. But as I was mentioning earlier, you know, the appointment of as I was saying, you have people who would be appointed to certain positions, special advisor, ambassador, whatever position it is. No, at the same time, you have to consider or look at the contribution or look at what they can bring to the table. While we know that the majority of these appointments that take place throughout the Caribbean are, mainly political, the individuals who are appointed, they also have something to bring to the table. One would argue that, well, you were there before, and why didn't you, make that recommendation before? Why didn't you make your contribution before when you had the opportunity? Fair enough. But you still have to, bring into the conversation that while the appointments are political, it's a political favor, you also have to consider that majority of these individuals, or some of these individuals, they too have something to bring to the table. Perhaps their years of experience, their knowledge of the field. I don't know. What is your take on this? Let's head back to the phone lines and we'll take this call. Caller, you are on the air. Good afternoon.
Yes, me again. Where's Mr. McMahon? Mr. McMahon, I'm waiting on you. Now, it is true that some of them do have, but then it begs the question, what happened to the candidates who lost from the other parties? Because I have been worrying about it, maybe unnecessarily so, Because sometimes they get so much election money, they have some to last to the next one. Because some of them had some good jobs, in the government service. Can they be allowed back into the service? You thought about that?
I see what you mean.
Especially in this case where all the parties had very young people who I don't even think qualify for government pension yet. What has become of them? How are they coping? Maybe one of them could call and say. Right? Now, I heard the news on ZIZ that may involve you. They were announcing that the Youth Parliament will be having a discussion on ZIZ TV tonight.
Yes.
Aren't you the PRO?
No, a new PRO took over from September 2022.
Because I heard it on the television. But you could, it doesn't cost you anything. You could encourage people to listen. And let us see the level of debate. Because sometimes I listen, well, I think maybe they're improving. Where they just copy the political parties, they sound just as quarrelsome and as noisy and interruptive. So I expect to hear something better. What is the topic for tonight?
I am not certain, but there are a number of topics that will be discussed. Education, religion. I don't remember off the top of my head, but there are a different set of topics. Different topics, and it will be, I think, the last Monday of every month.
Right. So you could tell people, the last Monday, listen to the TV. You hear young people. So we will have an idea as if we are progressing in political debate. Because sometimes debates are devoid of facts and stats, and more sensationalism. Now, an article, sorry to divert from your thing. I heard an advertisement on your radio talking about people who owe NHC are being given a chance to pay as low as $300 per month. You heard it?
Yes.
I have said from the beginning, that PAP money they have could have gone to people's electricity bill, to people's NHC. That was how it was designed for us. They were to get a card and use it to pay who they owe in the government. But then you make so much noise, you give them the cash and it reaches nowhere. So I am suggesting again that those who are having struggles with their mortgage, that you direct the PAP money straight there, because they have been surviving, and it will take a burden off of them. Because they give them, some people have 30 years, a 30-year mortgage, or somebody in the 40 and 50, it never ended. So when you reduce it, are there late fee charges? Because these people need to know, because sometimes banks say, oh, come on, consolidate. And you find yourself in more trouble than anything before. So I would encourage the government, Mr. Honorable Jeffrey Hanley, to suggest that all those who are delinquent, who say they can't pay, once they're on the PAP, direct the money there, and I hope people will see it as taking some of the burden off of them. What do you think about that?
Well, I think I made a similar suggestion where for those who qualify for the $500, you take some from that, at least half, and you put it towards paying for the mortgage or whatever other bill they have.
And the electricity?
Yeah, so instead of giving them all of the cash, you take some and you say, okay, look, let's work out something where we take at least half and we put it towards the mortgage or the current or whatever.
If you can't pay lights, you can't pay water, you can't pay NHC, and the government is giving you $500, especially if you're working. Now, this thing should have a time limit, Otherwise, the thing will go beyond 30 years. Because if you're going to cut it from 800 to 300, you almost double the time. So, Honorable Mr. Hanley, think about it. You are not doing them a disservice. You're, in fact, doing them a service. Because they never had the 500 before anyway. Take some of the burden off of the poor people. Because one lady confessed. She said, well, the minister know it couldn't pay, so he give me the house. You heard that statement, right?
I remember that.
I mean, that is also ridiculous. But he now couldn't pay, so why give me the house for? So please, you could, when they're going to start paying the PAP again, from tomorrow?
I don't know. I have to verify that,
I thought they said the 31st of January.
Well, it could be. It could be.
I don't know. I'm not mine. Miss Henry did not say it will be. All right then.
Yeah, all right, caller. Thank you for your contribution to this program. It's 11 minutes past the 1 o'clock hour. You're listening to Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9. The phone lines are open and we're taking your calls at 466-0989 or 762-0989. This is Voices for Monday, January 30th, 2023. It's the beginning of the week. We're back out to work. I want to use this opportunity to wish each and every one of you a peaceful and progressive and productive Monday and the rest of the week. Focus on what you have to do. Don't let anybody stress you unnecessarily. Stress kills. Stress kills. And so please, whatever you can do, enjoy life. This is Voices on WINNFM 98.9. Callers have been giving their views and opinions on a number of matters here in St. Kitts and Nevis, ranging from, of course, the politics to the national security, crime and violence, you name it. Let's head back to the phone lines and we'll take this call. Caller, you are on the air. Good afternoon. Okay, we seem to have lost that caller. You can call us back at 466-0989 or 762-0989. So people have been weighing in on the politics, national security, crime and violence in relation to the murders happening in the country. People have been making their contribution, and recently the caller spoke to that initiative by the National Housing Corporation. But as I was saying, I recall making that recommendation for those people who qualify for the PAP payment. You take at least half of that payment and you put it towards the mortgage, or you put it towards the electricity bill, but you assist them in one way or the other. Let's head back to the phone lines and we'll take this call. Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Happy to be alive. What about you?
The same. It's been quite a while. I've been listening and trying to stay far from the phone. But today forced me to call because of some of the comments came from some of your callers. Now, when a certain person or individual was in opposition, he claims that the houses could be cheaper because of the social service levy, where 1% of the 3% from social service levy is going towards the houses. Now, I find it hard to see me live in one, paying a mortgage and still paying social service levy towards the house. So I'm paying for the house twice. And even when I finish paying half of it, I still will be continue paying the social service levy, because what I find is that the more taxes government collect, the harder it is for the ordinary man. Because the houses, when you do a survey on the person's salary, why everybody should be paying the same with different salaries? Because the mortgage on the house is supposed to work out, in my view, according to your salary. But if my salary can't make it, why the man who could make it, everything straight across the board, $800 a month for everybody? What happened to the fellow who making $1,200 a month and the next fellow making $2,000 a month? Where the one who making $1,200 gone dead? Because where does the social service levy, the 1%, kick in to assist the one with the small salary? Because they say the houses are low income. But if they are low income, why are you paying so much per month? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm following you, caller.
The math doesn't add up to me, because if they say the houses are low income, why the one who making $400 a week will pay the same as one who making $800 a week? I ain't get it. And like I say, I ain't living none, and I ain't got no intention to live in none, and I wouldn't, if I could possibly help it, I wouldn't encourage nobody to get involved with none. Because like the lady say, if you're at a certain age, you're gone dead before you pay off for the house. Because if you get a house at 40, 45 years, and they get 30 years to pay for it, and now they further reduce the mortgage on the house, it's just like you say, well, let me pay rent. Because when they reduce the mortgage now, it's rent you're paying, you know. Because you ain't paying to own the house because you're gone dead. Before you pay off for the house.
No, I don't want to laugh.
No, but listen, it's very, very, it's a serious issue. Because I have friends of, who involved, and I see that, how are you going to own the house? With the cost of living and your salary, how are you going to own that house? And your age, how are you going to own it? Because what's going to actually happen, when they're creeping up, stress going to kick in, Stress is going to kick in. Because when they're going to call you to remind you that you owe, or they're going to send somebody to look for you to collect the money and you don't got it, stress going to kick in.
Well, I think you got, as one of the homeowners, well, I don't want to use the term homeowners, but if you live in one of those houses, I guess you have to tell yourself, boy, you will never own this home. You just be paying for it until you die.
And especially
Maybe that's the
if you
case.
have children committed to you to assist you.
Right.
To say, well, mommy or daddy, don't worry.
Yeah, we're
Don't
gonna help.
feed me. I'm gonna help you pay for the house.
Yes.
You understand?
Yeah.
But the problem now is that everybody want their own thing. So if you got a child, as soon as the child got to start to work, he can't left you. So who can help you? I think I don't even really want to say we educate the people, because when you really look at life today, it's not cutting. And the thing with the special advisor, what is the job description?
Well, according to the Premier, it's to advise on foreign investments and foreign-related matters.
But that kind of salary, right? How much the top permanent secretary getting?
Well, the last time I checked a pay scale, I've never seen the actual scale for St. Kitts, but the one for Nevis, a permanent secretary would make about between $7,000 and $8,000 per month. Maybe $9,000.
Okay.
But about $8,000 per month, roughly.
Okay. And I think they get concessions to it.
Yes, I believe so, yes.
Okay. Reverend is the people,
But a permanent secretary is different to a special advisor, eh?
I know.
Yeah, the special advisor is paid more.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I asked the question. Because based on the permanent secretary, the amount of work, put the difference to the special advisor. Because, the permanent secretary got more stress than the special advisor. Devon, the man with the most qualification, right?
Yeah.
He get the less pay.
But yeah, true.
Yeah, it's true. I know. The man with the most qualification get the less pay.
And
Because he spends so much years, and up to when he come back to work, he's still paying this thousands of dollars a month for his college and thing, and then the money ain't coming up to meet it. The money where he getting can't pay for what he went go learn, and it's
What about those who don't do nothing at all and get the most money, and people who work hard ain't get a thing?
Well, you gotta go with the system. You ain't here.
Right.
He pays to lose.
That's the way it is.
You gotta go with the flow. Listen. Listen. You see those guys who walk in the street and claim that their head ain't good? Nothing wrong with them, yeah. Nothing wrong with them. They're just trying to beat the system. Nothing wrong with them.
Okay.
One they hold a conversation with one of them, and when they finish with you, you finish with them.
The educated,
You'll shake your head for the rest of the day and the rest of the month because you want to know, well, wait, how they say that person's head ain't good? They're beating the system.
All right, then, caller.
All right.
All right, thank you so much, caller. Yeah, man, thank you so much for your contribution to the program. This is Voices on WINNFM 98.9. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. Thank you so much for joining the conversation. It is 1:21 here in our studios. The phone lines are open and we are taking your calls. You can call us at 466-0989. We are also live on our social media platforms. Check us out on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter to follow this program and other programs that we have coming up. But again, thank you guys so much for your contribution to the program. The callers who've been giving their point of view, their opinion, their views, on various matters at hand here in St. Kitts and Nevis. There is so much happening in the country. There is so much happening regionally and international news. Every day is something mind-blowing, every single day. But the contribution there by the caller with regards to the homes, that's the other thing. When I heard the payment, not knocking it, maybe it's something that they sat down and said, hey, this is the best possible way that we can assist these individuals. But when I heard as low as $300, I'm like, okay, bye. I was like, how? But hey, but the recommendation with the PAP money, if you're receiving the PAP payment, then I don't see anything wrong with the government taking at least half. So you get $500 as PAP payment, you cut that in half. So $250 go to the government to either pay for the electricity. Well, no, electricity in St. Kitts don't be so high. It don't be so high. So let's say half goes towards, or some of that half goes towards paying for the electricity, and the rest perhaps goes would go towards paying for the mortgage, But that's my recommendation. That is what I am suggesting and putting on the floor. What are your thoughts? Let's head back to the phone lines. Caller, you are on the air. Good afternoon.
Yeah, Devon, I'm back. You notice, you hearing me, right?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, you notice this homicide is rising up ahead again in the Federation. What do you think these people who are committing these crimes is so daring? What do you think they are so daring? Let me hear your answer.
But I really don't know, because I sometimes sit and I wonder, I think about the entire thing. It's like last night, I was having a conversation about, murders and people just killing people. And, we were trying to wrap our heads around the entire situation, How? Why? For what? I don't know. I don't know.
Listen here. When I was a little boy going to school, I always hear them say, children must not play with matches. And it took up my mother's box of match. I alone was in the house. And I scratched the match. And when the fire coming onto my finger, I dropped the match on the tablecloth, and it burned up the tablecloth. And let me tell you something. I get more licks on the alphabet, let them multiply 4 times. And I never play with match again. Never, until I come a big man. And I know how to deal with match. Now, saying that to say this, if they were getting punished according to what they do, a lot of this would have cut out. A lot of it would have cut out. But there is no punishment. You commit a crime and you get better food, and you get more privilege than some people who are out on the street who ain't committing a crime. Everyone, you have a good day.
All right, you two call. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. It is 25 minutes past the 1 o'clock hour, and you are listening to Voices. I'm Devon Cornelius. Thank you so much for joining the program. We'll take just a few more calls, and then we'll wrap up the discussion for today. But the phone lines are open. Call us and give your point of view. Just a bit of a recap. We spoke on the situation in the Nevis politics as it relates to the NRP fiasco there. The appointment of Alexis Jeffers as a special advisor to the office of the Premier. Increase in it appears to be an increase in murders in the country, the recent murders. So people have been weighing in on that. And a caller questioned or raised a question as it relates to the police commissioner in terms of, it being advertised and, suggesting that you look within the organization to find suitable candidates. As I mentioned, perhaps that is what is happening. People within the force have submitted, perhaps people in the force have submitted their applications. And then, of course, the housing issue, the National Housing Corporation issue, this stemmed from a conversation we had last week where the Minister with responsibility for NHC, Dr. Jeffrey Hanley, spoke about there being a high percentage of people that are not pay for their house. That is what it is. And so the NHC have implemented a number of measures to address the situation, and they're trying their best to assist these people. Let's take our final call for this afternoon. Okay, we seem to have lost that caller. I'll take just one more call. You can call us at 466-0989. That is 466-0989. In the meantime, I want to say thank you so much for joining the program today. Without you, this would not have been possible. Stay tuned to WINNFM 98.9. and continue to give us your support, continue to contribute to our radio station. Thank you so much for your contribution. We'll take one more call and then we'll wrap up the discussion for today. The phone line is open, so you can call us at 466-0989-762-0989 or 662-0989. This is Voices on WINNFM 98.9. I've been your host for Voices today, Devon Cornelius. Again, thank you guys so much for your contribution. It's the end of the month, well, tomorrow, January 31st, end of the month, beginning of the week. My advice to you, whatever you're doing, whatever you're going through, remain focused. Keep your eyes on the goal and do what you have to do. You know, sometimes in life you have to be a little bit selfish. Sometimes you have to look out for you first, eh? Perhaps you spend your entire life looking out for other people, but my advice to you this afternoon, those of you who are listening, sometimes you have to be a little bit selfish. Think about you, care about yourself, treat yourself. If you have no calls, I'll bring this program to a close. And again, thank you guys so much for your contribution to this program. This has been another edition of Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9. Until next time, you guys stay safe. We'll talk soon. I'm hoping to have an interview with the former Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris. I've reached out, and so he has promised to come on the air, but of course at a time convenient for him, so that we can have him here and engage him in an interview, and of course the opportunity for people to ask their questions. And so I've extended an invitation to the former Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, the Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris, to join us here on WINNFM. So we are hoping to touch base with him, or we're hoping to have him on our station very shortly. Until next time, you guys stay safe. Don't drink and drive, and stop text and drive. Please come off your phone. Bus drivers, please take your time on the government road. Y'all take care.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is WIN FM.